Yo, what's going on YouTube family? It's your man Jeremy Doodoo here, and in this video I want to answer one of the most difficult questions in the world. What are the job responsibilities of a UX designer? What do we do? What's expected of us? And the reason I feel like it's one of the most difficult questions to answer is because if you have looked at job descriptions of UX designers, you understand what I'm talking about. You'll go to job A and look at the job description and it's like, okay, you need to know Sketch, Figma, you gotta know how to prototype. All right, do a little bit of research, some visual design. Okay, I got this, right? That's what you might be thinking to yourself. And then you look at job B and it's like, you have to know all of that. You gotta know PHP, Python, JavaScript, and Java. And you're like, okay, I'm in for a doozy here. I have to know how to code too. All right, this is an issue, and you might feel like you're going a little crazy, right? And you know, I'm just saying that because I remember that's how I felt back in the day when I was starting out. I look at these job descriptions, and I would think that I needed to know all of this before I got started, right? And what I know now is that you don't need to know everything before you get started. You know, I want to talk about this because if you feel how I felt, hopefully this video gives you a little bit of peace of mind so you understand what's actually expected of you. So I feel like there's two factors that really influence your job responsibilities. And those factors are the leadership at the organization that you're going to work for or that you're applying to, and the environment that's at that organization. If that job that you're applying to has a startup environment, I'm pretty sure that they're going to expect you to wear several different hats as a designer. So you might be the person that's doing the UX research, you'll do the UX architecture, the UI design, and you'll probably jump into some code, right? At some companies actually expect UX designers to code or help out with that because they don't have enough dedicated resources to each of those different areas, right? So the UX designer will be a UX team of one, or you know, somebody they call a unicorn in the industry. On the other side of that, if you work at a more at a company that has a more established design team, you'll specialize in 2 to 3 areas of design. So I'll give you an example from my experience. I worked at Fandango, amazing company, and we had a UX research team that focused on the research. As UX designers, we just focused, a lot of us just focused on UI design, and we had other UX architects who would do the initial wireframes, and they'd hand that off to us. We'd comp up the UI designs for desktop apps or mobile apps, whatever. And then we would hand off those designs that we came up with to developers who would build it out in code, right? So if you work on a more established design team, you're expected to specialize in just a few different areas. And as far as leadership is concerned, I feel like there are leaders at companies that really embrace design culture and they understand the value of design. So they'll allow designers to take it as far as they could, right? Before we build the castle, how can we build the house, right? So you have leaders who think like that, like designers can make any grand idea that they want, but we just have to understand how to scale it down to get to a starting point. And then you have other leaders who think that designers make things look pretty, right? We're just production artists and we're trying to make things look pretty, right? So that can influence your responsibilities as well. When you're starting out, typically you're the person who is focused on the execution of the design. Like, you have to understand the standards for what you're designing, whether that's on mobile or desktop or an application on iOS or Android, right? You have to understand how to build something that makes sense to a user that uses that specific device, right? And as you grow in your career, being somebody who focuses on the execution to growing into somebody who's focused on the strategy and understanding how to work with different stakeholders and communicate the value of design, right? So starting out, you don't have to understand how to do research. You don't have to understand how to talk to all different kind of stakeholders, even if the job description is saying that. Like, my point is that you don't have to feel like you are the perfect designer to start applying to those positions. If you have specialized skill in creating great UI designs and you can execute on making something look good and make it make sense, that's a good starting point, right? All the other skills are things that you can lean into and grow on the job. Like, I've been a UX designer for 6 years now, and just recently I started getting into doing usability tests and doing user research on my own, right? Before that, I would rely on other teams to help me with that, but you know, that's something that I've grown into just over the past few months. Different jobs will require different things from you, and they'll have different needs based on the dynamics of that team, based on the organization and what they value. So I hope that this video really gives you some clarity on what's expected of you, and you're not going down this deep dark rabbit hole of trying to learn everything that you could, thinking that you need to know everything that these job descriptions are saying, because oftentimes there are recruiters who make these job descriptions that don't know what they talking about sometimes, right? I feel like it's a red flag when a job description says that you have to know how to prototype, but as a UX designer, you also have to know something like Java or PHP or any of that. Like that job description is wrong, right? So yeah, guys, I hope that this video helps you out. If it did, you already know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.